Well, it's seriously early, and it's actually 3:17 a.m. at the moment. Um, I'm someone who loves cycling for cycling's sake, and who also loves cycling for the transport element of it, both for the sort of the green element and also for the sense of achievement. So I always used to ride to and from work whenever I could, and that involved usually a sort of 20-mile commute to school where I was teaching. Um, so it was an achievement. It was an hour a day. It got me a few extra miles in, and it saved me a lot of petrol. And just occasionally, I've done since then slightly madder commutes. So when I worked for Anglian Water, I did a commute to Huntingdon one day, which was a 112-mile round trip, 56 miles each way, or something like that. But today, I'm doing my longest each way trip at least. I've got an overnight, so I don't have to ride back again this evening, which is something. But today I'm riding to Tring for a company event, and it's 72 miles, and we start at 8:30. So that's going to take 4.5 hours. So hence the 3:17. But if I was driving, it would be taking me probably 2.5 hours, possibly more. So I'd still be up early, just up a bit earlier as it is. Anyway, show you how it goes. Okay, so this is Finching Field with its chocolate box, village green. I've done about 8 miles so far. It took me just under half an hour, so I'm taking it nice and steadily. And that actually is my third car that I've seen of the day. I haven't had anything past me so far, but that's number 3. So it doesn't come a lot quieter than this, really. This is about as peaceful as it gets. Wouldn't be like this on a bank holiday Monday, I can tell you. Okay, this is Thaxted. Done just coming up to 15 miles now, and I've been riding for a bit under an hour. That's my 7th car. I've got a feeling I'm going to lose count before very long, but we'll see. My ancestral home, Thaxted. I did some genealogical research for my mum a few years ago. Managed to get back to the 15th century, and this was the earliest place we found anyone. Shilling family who lived here back then. So yes. Many years later, I did a really enjoyable English course at Clarence House, just here on the right, when I was at school, which I loved. Really enjoyed that. Just after 5 a.m. now, and 12 minutes past 5 in fact, and I turned the camera on just a bit too late there. I just tried to get 2 roe deer that were just disappearing into the hedge. Real shame, because they were very, very close, but unfortunately the camera's quick, but not that quick. Anyway, just over a quarter of the way now, 18 or 19 miles in, and it's proper daylight now, quite close to sunrise. I didn't actually check the time of sunrise, but it must be pretty close now. There's a lot of cloud, so not sure I'm going to see it. So I've just gone through Henham, heading towards Quendon. So for cyclists, certainly cyclists of a certain age, this is a part of the world that's extremely familiar, because it's the site of the club huts. The huts were here
back in the sort of first half of the 20th century, I suppose, and they were the headquarters for a lot of cycling events, time trials mostly, I suppose, but I certainly rode quite a lot of road races from here as well. And there's a very famous course that I'm just about to cover a very small part of, called the E1 time trial course. As you can tell from its number, it's an old one, and so this is an area that's kind of steeped in cycling history. Now most of the huts are gone, they've been sold off privately, which is sad really, but it's changing the way people live, cycle, travel, so it's just moving on with the times. And there's the M11, and there in front is another muntjac. Not as nice as the two road here I saw, but there you go, at least you got to see a deer. I had another one of the muntjacs actually in Civil Headingham, but I missed that one as well. That was a lot closer than that one. Miles now, and after a very little bit of the old A11, not the A11 now, it's the B1383 I think off the top of my head, where I saw as much traffic as I had for the rest of the ride virtually. I'm now back in the countryside again. So there we are, that's Hertfordshire. 5:45 AM. And they're happy with my speed. That is uphill, I have to say. I am going uphill at the moment, that's my excuse for that speed. I'm actually averaging about 17 miles an hour. Well, it's just turned 6 AM, and I think the sort of murky undercast that's been around since I set off, not that I could see it when I set off, but I can feel it on my fingers and my toes. I think it's sort of starting to clear now. I think it's going to be quite a pleasant day. I've still only actually been passed by 3 cars, and I think I want something like 10 or a dozen altogether, so ones that I've seen in the distance and ones coming the other way. Here we go. Just about to make this left turn to a place called Puckeridge. And Puckeridge is of near legendary status for one reason, and one reason alone, and that is that it's the end of the A120. So actually I'm not sure if all the signs are still there now, but at one point certainly all the signs led to Puckeridge. And nobody actually knew where Puckeridge was, or what it was, or how big it was, except that they probably guessed it was actually not very big. And so here it is, and I have to say my Garmin's just told me that this is now going to be the first climb of the day, so this could be fun. Garmin doesn't always get it right, but this looks like it might have done possibly here. In about 200 metres time I should be exactly halfway. It's 6:15 AM. Been riding for 2 hours, 9 minutes and 15 seconds, so I haven't been pushing it. I'm not going to push it. I didn't want to push it. I wanted to do it in about 4.5 hours, and it looks as though I'm pretty much on course for that. Morning. Coming past. Cheers. Thanks a lot. starting to wake up a bit now. There's a lot more traffic and a lot more idiots on the road. Hiya! And a few more cyclists. That's the third one I've seen actually in the last couple of miles. So obviously this is a good little cycle commuting lane, I reckon. Keeping away from the traffic. Anyway, just before 7 AM. A long way, really worth the acceleration, that. Well, another 15 miles to go, and as you can see, there's a lot more traffic building all the time now. Got Luton Airport behind me now. Gone past that a few miles ago. So I'm in the Chiltern Hills now, or getting that way at least. Starting to get things that look kind of Chiltern-esque. When I used to race, I used to like the Chilterns, and there were a number of climbs that were real favourites of mine, including one that was called Pink Hill, which I suspect was probably called Pink Hill because that was the colour everything went when you were halfway up it. So I'm guessing this is the local rat run. A320 taking off, I think. So it's now 5 to 8 and I've got just over 9 miles left to go, and I'm on the second last hill, and obviously the hills here are a bit more interesting than the ones in Essex generally. So it's now 9 minutes past 8 and I've covered 106 kilometres, so 66 miles, something like that, and I've got another 6 miles, so I'm nearly there. The last bit has been through absolutely glorious countryside, but totally destroyed by traffic. And that's Buckinghamshire. 26. So my ETA of 8:30 was really not far out, and it's taken me 4:18 so far, so I'll be a little bit inside the 4.5 hours obviously. And that was that. I was arrived. I really enjoyed most of that ride. The first 2 hours were positively magical, actually, with the dawn chorus and the various deer that I saw, apart from almost getting taken off by one earlier on, I have to say. But the traffic just makes it a bit grim near the end. Most car drivers and van drivers and bus drivers are really good, but you just get those odd one or two who are of the opinion that you shouldn't be on the road, and you've seen the way some of them drive, and it's amazing how many of them actually don't get themselves anywhere by doing it. They go flying past you and then have to slam the brakes on actually as they're doing it. And ironically, they end up slowing down the cyclist rather than the other way round. But anyway, it doesn't spoil it. You don't just have to not let it spoil it. And it's more than made up for by those skies, those animals, the greens. Fantastic, especially at this time of the year. And I'm going to have to do some more early morning rides because I enjoyed that one.